Good morning, Jennifer. How are you?
Good morning, Frank. Great to see you.
It's great to see you too. Thanks so much for being with me today. And it's so exciting to actually be talking to you about Apple Pay. We're actually at the 10th anniversary of the launch of Apple Pay. So, what a milestone. How does that feel?
It's amazing. I actually can't believe it's been 10 years, but we have been having a lot of fun and just feel great about the progress we've been making with Apple Pay.
So, Apple Pay is everywhere now. You can pretty much use it anywhere and you can pay for anything with little need for a physical wallet. When Apple Pay first launched back in 2014, did you ever predict it'd be as widespread and ubiquitous as it is today?
Well, it's a great question. Our goal was, it's always been to replace the physical wallet, and we wanted to start with payments. And as you said, in order to do that, you really have to make Apple Pay ubiquitous. It needs to be everywhere. And so we're super excited about the progress that we've made with Apple Pay. From a consumer standpoint, we're in 75 markets now. I'm sorry, 78 markets. We have hundreds of millions of customers using Apple Pay. And you can pay, as you say, in so many places, tens of millions of in-store locations, as well as millions of websites and apps. So we are, again, just really excited about the acceleration of contactless payments with Apple Pay. And the benefits that our consumers are seeing with the security and privacy, and certainly the ease of use.
Of course, of course. Now, I'd also like to touch a little bit on the development that went into Apple Pay. From the beginning, Apple Pay has always been a highly secure and yet easy to use form of payment. I'd like to ask, what were the biggest challenges faced when launching Apple Pay, and how was the team able to overcome those challenges?
Sure. Well, as you noted, when we launched in 2014, which was quite a while ago, mobile payments wasn't really a significant thing. And so we really did have to educate consumers about not only how to use Apple Pay, but the security and privacy benefits of Apple Pay. And that took us work as well as work with our banking partners to do that. But probably the most significant challenge is that when we launched Apple Pay, particularly in the US, we only had 3% physical locations where you could actually pay with Apple Pay.
Wow.
And that was unlike other countries. Like in the UK and Australia, contactless payments had been around for a while. And so when we launched Apple Pay in those countries, there were many more places to use it. But in the US, it was quite a journey to get merchants to really upgrade the payment technology that they have in their stores to be able to accept Apple Pay. So I'd say that was the biggest thing. And now we're really excited. I think if you look at the US alone, we're in over 90% of locations where you can use Apple Pay in physical stores. And outside the US, it's, again, in most countries, virtually ubiquitous.
It's so awesome because I feel like anywhere you go nowadays, there's always an option to use contactless. And then I'm like, okay, I can use my phone and use Apple Pay or my Apple Watch. So it's fantastic. Kind of reflecting on the past decade, what do you believe has been Apple Pay's most significant contribution on consumer behavior and kind of the broader payment industry as a whole?
Yeah, great question. I think what consumers love the most about Apple Pay, I think, is it's always with them and the simplicity. I think what has been most industry changing, though, is the approach that we've taken to security. We used a combination of our hardware and software and services, things like the secure element, biometric authentication like Face ID and Touch ID, working with the networks, a technology called tokenization. So all these things make an Apple Pay payment so much more secure than a physical card payment or any type of card payment that you might do online. And as a result of that, and with the growth of Apple Pay, we're really seeing much less fraud, lower fraud numbers, and we know that's in the end, the most beneficial thing for consumers as well. But I definitely say security has been, I think, the biggest change in the industry.
Now, I'd like to also shift gears a little bit and talk a little bit about the next decade of Apple Pay. So for me, honestly, the only physical card I carry around with me is my driver's license. Every card I have, my Apple Card, all of my debit cards, everything is on my Apple Pay and my Apple Wallet. Recently, we've been seeing more and more states launch digital driver's licenses and ID support in the Wallet app. That's a feature I'm actually super excited about, super excited for Massachusetts Massachusetts coming soon, hopefully. As we look forward to the next decade of Apple Pay, do you see a future where we don't carry around a physical wallet anymore, including our IDs?
Yeah, absolutely. That's our goal, as I said, to replace the physical wallet. We're really excited about the progress we're making with state IDs. We just recently launched California, which is the seventh state, and we have many more states in the pipeline. And what digital IDs will enable you to do first is to do things like present it at TSA when you're going through airport security checkpoints. So you won't need to have your physical ID. You can present your digital ID. And then we're working with many companies to increase acceptance of digital ID. So things like when you might be checked if you might be going into a bar and you need to be checked to be over 21 from an age requirement perspective, or renting a car where you need to present your ID, as well as law enforcement types of use cases. So we're working on the acceptance, not only the issuance of IDs with the states in the US, but also on the acceptance of IDs, much as the same journey we had to do with Apple Pay. It starts small, take us some time, but we believe over the longer term, IDs will be like Apple Pay, where it will be ubiquitously accepted.
That's awesome. I'm super excited about that as well. It's definitely a feature I will be using. So now, before we wrap up, I'd also like to touch a little bit about some of the new features coming to Wallet and Apple Pay in iOS 18. Could you tell me a little bit more about some of the new features coming in iOS 18?
Absolutely. We have a lot of great features that have launched in iOS 18. And one of the first and my favorite is installments, to be able to use Apple Pay to pay with installments online and also to pay with rewards or points. So in the case of installments, we're working with folks like Affirm, Monzo, and now Klarna. And what that means is anywhere Apple Pay is accepted online, when you tap that Apple Pay button, you'll have the option to pay with a installment. That installment could be a buy now, pay later loan, which is at 0%. Over 4 payments, or it could be a longer term loan, like a 6 or 12-month loan for larger purchases. We think it's a great way to extend Apple Pay and also to enable installments, which is very beneficial for many people to help do their monthly budgeting in a way that's easy for them to access online. The second part of it is to be able to pay with points. And there we're first launched with Discover, with more issuers to come. So what that means is if you have a Discover card and you're earning credit points, you will be able to, again, anywhere Apple Pay is accepted, tap the Apple Pay button, say you want to pay with points, and that gets debited, from your points balance and turns it into real money. So we're really excited about that. So that's one of the features, or really two of the features that we've launched in iOS 18. Another feature that I'm excited about is called Tap to Cash. You may be familiar with Apple Cash, where you can send and receive money with friends and family through messages or through the Wallet app. This allows you to do a very similar thing, but in physical proximity. So bringing 2 iPhones together, you can send cash from one friend to another friend. And the reason that's really, I think, different and important is because particularly when you're doing this in the context of, you're at a garage sale, you don't really want to give that person your phone number or your email. You just want to give them cash anonymously like you would normally if it was physical cash. And so Tap to Cash will enable you to do that. So we're excited about that feature. Another one of the really exciting features that we have is Tap to Provision, which enables you to add cards to Wallet, tapping your card. This is a more secure way to add a card. But probably one of the more exciting things, at least from the expansion of Apple Pay, is you'll now be able to use Apple Pay with third-party browsers on other devices. So you might be a Windows machine user with an iPhone. And so if you're using Windows machine with a third-party browser, you'll see Apple Pay appear on the site. You scan a code and you'll be able to authenticate and use Apple Pay. So we're really excited because we believe that'll also expand all the places that you can use Apple Pay, even if you're, unfortunately not using a Mac. But maybe using somebody else's hardware in that case. And finally, we have some really cool new formats for our tickets and Wallet. So We do. We support many event venues, as well as the sports teams, of course, MLS, NFL, MLB, all these places that have event tickets. And we've got great new ticketing formats, which allows the ticket vendors to integrate information about the venue, to create a playlist that might be appropriate for the event, or also include things like weather information and venue requirements. So we're excited about those launching as well, and have done a lot of work to make iOS 18 a great release for Wallet, and we're really excited to see these features roll out.
That's awesome. So many incredible features. Just for me personally, I think tap to cash is going to be super helpful. It's kind of like name drop, but for sending money to each other. So
That's exactly right.
It's kind of such a genius feature there, and I think it will be so helpful to so many users. Well, thank you so much, Jennifer, for taking the time to chat with me today. It's been such a pleasure to meet you and chat all things Apple Wallet, and to celebrate the 10th anniversary of Apple Pay. So it's been so exciting.
Thank you. It's great to see you, and I really appreciate you helping us out.
Thanks so much.